In this module, we learn about three major operating systems for personal computers and their command line interfaces. Knowing those is helpful for Python programming.
The disk operating system is an old and established operating system based on a command line. It has been published by Microsoft and is still in use today as part of Microsoft Windows.
Quite some time ago, the first personal computers were produced, and the IBM PC was one of the first that found wide adoption. Microsoft DOS has been designed especially for these computers. Interestingly, the first Microsoft flight simulator was already a benchmark. A computer that was able to run the flight simulator was considered IBM compatible.
The disk operating system was a comparably small but well-designed piece of software that enabled different actual hardware to be treated similarly from a program's point of view. Many design details and the command line survived as important parts of Microsoft Windows.
One important concept is the concept of a file. Technically speaking, a file is a contiguous block of information, but practically, it represents the smallest unit that end users typically operate with. For example, an image, a video, a document, or a spreadsheet are typically files. A file has name, and in Microsoft DOS and Windows, the type of the file, e.g., what is contained, and which program shall be used to open the file, is encoded as the file extension. Note that you might not always see the extensions when using Windows. They can be hidden.
All the files are organized into a tree of folders. The hierarchy starts with a root folder represented as a backslash. A folder contains files and directories identified with names. In this way, a folder can contain a folder and a tree hierarchy is created. The absolute path of a file is given by starting at the root of the hierarchy using the backslash and listing all directories separated with backslash. Each time you use the command line, you are actually in a directory. You can specify paths from there, using two dots for referring to one level higher in the hierarchy.
Files and folders reside in drives. A drive is associated with a letter. Note that the first two letters are not in use today as they were reserved for two floppy disks, one for programs and one for data. The first hard drive is thus commonly referred to as Drive C, and subsequent letters are assigned dynamically to drives.
As MS-DOS was often the only software on a computer, it contains a rich set of features. In general, a command prompt waits for the user to input a command. Then, the command is being run. Afterwards, a new prompt is shown waiting for the next command.
This is how it looked like and looks like today. Note that the prompt specifies where you are. In the left figure, you are on Drive C in the root folder. In the right figure, you are on Drive C in folder users subfolder Marty.
This slide lists important commands for MS-DOS, and you should make yourself aware of those and play around with them.
Yes, because when programming it might be helpful to perform operations on the command line. Microsoft Windows, one of the dominant operating systems of these days. Windows originated as a graphical file manager for Microsoft DOS.
Soon, together with the popularity of a mouse, it allowed people to see multiple documents at the same time. This design was so successful that it did not change significantly since then.